pratyavamarshanaat, sadya pratyavamarshanaat, bhagavati uru manat cha, bhagavati uru manaksha, bhave mayi api cha adarat, bhave mayi api cha adarat, putrasya eva cha putranam, putrasya cha putranam, bhavita ekaha satam mataha, bhavitaikah satam mataha, gashyanti yat yashaha shuddham, gashyanti yat yashah shuddham, bhagavat yashasha samam, bhagavat yashasha samam. Kasyapa vacha krutashokanutapena sadya pratyavamarshanaat, bhagavati urumanacha, bhave mayi api chadarat, putrasyaiva cha putranam, bhavitaika satam mataha, gashyanti yad yashah shuddham, bhagavad yashasa samam. Kasyapa vacha krutashokanutapena sadya pratyavamarshanaat, bhagavati urumanaksha, bhave mayi api chadarat, putrasyaiva cha putranam, bhavitaika satam mataha, gashyanti yad yashah shuddham, bhagavad yashasa samam. Eva, certainly, cha, and putranam, of the sons, bhavita, shall be born, ekaha, one, satam, of the devotees, mataha, approved, gashyanti, will broadcast, yat, of whom, yashaha, recognition, shuddham, transcendental, bhagavat, of the personality of Godhead, yashashaha, with recognition, samam, equally. Translation by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. The learned Kasyapa said, because of your lamentation, penitence and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons, Prahlada, of your son, Hiranyakasipu, will be an approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the personality of Godhead. Please repeat the translation. The learned Kasyapa said, because of your lamentation, penitence and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons, Prahlada, of your son Hiranyakasipu, will be an approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the personality of Godhead. Next two verses I'll recite myself. Yoger hemeva durvaranam bhavayishyanti sadavaha nirvairadibir atmanam yakshilam anuvartitum. In order to follow in his footsteps, saintly persons will try to emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity, just as the purifying process rectifies gold of inferior quality. Purport. Yoga practice. The process of purifying one's external identity is based mainly on self-control. Without self-control, one cannot practice freedom from animosity. In the conditional state, every living being is envious of another living being. But in the liberated state, there is an absence of animosity. Prahlada Maharaj was tortured by his father in so many ways. Yet after the death of his father, he prayed for his father's liberation by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He did not ask any benediction that he might have asked, but he prayed that his atheistic father might be liberated. He never cursed any of the persons who engaged in torturing him at the instigation of his father. Next. Yat prasadat idam vishvam prasidati yadatmakam sasvadrak bhagavan yashya toshyate ananyaya drisha. Everyone will be pleased with him because the personality of Godhead, the supreme controller of the universe, is always satisfied with a devotee who does not wish for anything beyond him. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated everywhere as a super soul, and he can dictate to anyone and everyone as he likes. The would-be grandson of Diti, who was predicted to be a great devotee, would be liked by everyone, even by the enemies of his father, because he would have no other vision besides the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A pure devotee of the Lord sees the presence of his worshipable Lord everywhere. The Lord reciprocates in such a way that all living entities in whom the Lord is dwelling as a super soul also like a pure devotee, because the Lord is present in their hearts and can dictate to them to be friendly to his devotee. There are many instances in history wherein even the most ferocious animal became friendly to a pure devotee of the Lord. Doesn't see Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimiraandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So after understanding the mood of Diti, Kasyapa is assuring her that one of her grandsons will be a great personality. And in the next few verses, he will enumerate the qualities of Prahlada Maharaj. So he is saying, Kasyapa Vacha. Kasyapa was consoling Diti for her attitude, because she realized the mistake what she had done. Kruta shokanutapena, because of your lamentation for the mistake what you have done. For the penitence, for the observation of, for the mistake, you are trying to repent for the mistake. Sadhyaha pratyava marshanat, and by proper deliberation, by your proper contemplation with your intelligence, what should be done, what should not have been done, because you have come to the proper consciousness. And Bhagavati Urumanaksha, because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhave Maicha Adarat, and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, because you have accepted yourself as a faulty person. You prayed to Lord Shiva for begging forgiveness, and you even prayed for me for disturbing your sadhana at this particular point of time, because of your sincere repentance with all these qualities. Putrasyevata Putranam, one of the sons of your son, Prahlada Maharaj of Hiranyakasipu, Bhavita Ekaha Satam Mataha, the one person, that one son, Bhavita Ekaha Satam Mataha, he will be an approved devotee. He'll be a great personality, Mahabhagavataha, who will be approved by all the other devotees also. He is certified personality. Gashyanti yada yasha shuddham. His glories, which are very pure, will be spread over everywhere, widespread. Bhagavat yashasa samam, which are like the Lord's glories, it is equivalent to the Prahlad Maharaj's glories, are widely spread as like Lord's glories. Means like he'll be as famous as the Supreme Lord. With that perspective, further he says, Yoger hemeva durvaranam bhavishyanti sadavaha nirvairadibir atmanam yakshilam anuvartitum. So he's saying, in order to anuvartitam means to follow in the footsteps of your grandson. Saintly persons, sadavaha, atmanam yakshilam, they will follow his character. They try to emulate his character. They try to follow in the footsteps of that personality. They try to develop that qualities of like Prahlad Maharaj. From like nirvairadibir, freedom from animosity, no vairaha, no enemy, nirvairadibihi, adibihi, and so on. Yata, yoger hemeva durvaranam bhavishyanti. Just as inferior gold is purified by heating, the impurities will come onto the top and gold becomes purified. They also engage in the process of purification and they want to follow the characteristics and footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. So here, who are these yogis who are trying to follow sadhavaha? By the yogic practice, they want to come to that purified stage. So yoga practice is based mainly on self-control. Yoga indriya samyama. Yoga means the process of regulating the senses through mind. So that's why indriya samyama. So without self-control, one cannot practice freedom from animosity. So first, mind has to be balanced. If mind is balanced by yoga process, then happiness, distress, the duality of this material world, one will not be perceived to these dualistic perspectives. So next, further he says, Yat prasadat idam vishwam. If the Lord is satisfied, Yat prasadat, the entire universe, prasidati yadatmakam, becomes satisfied with the devotee. Yasmin tuste jagat santuste. If Lord is satisfied, the whole world is satisfied. So that's the perspective. Sa svadruk bhagavan yashyaha toshyante ananya drusha. Because when the Lord is satisfied with a devotee who does not wish for anything beyond him, na ananya drusha. Because the devotee just want to have the darshan of the Lord or just want to engage in the service of the Lord through the spiritual master. Not that they just, because they have received the Lord, they forget their guru. Prahlad Maharaj, in all his prayers, he always says, let me engage as a servant of your devotee, Narada Muni. He never said, I want to directly serve you. So, in that mode, he wants to engage in the service of the Lord through the spiritual master as an obedient servant. So, such a great personality who does not aspire anything beyond the Lord's service. So, he is so great that Lord will be satisfied. If Lord is satisfied, the entire creation, which is but part and parcel of the Lord, will also be satisfied. So how the entire reciprocation comes from the Lord? The Lord reciprocates in such a way that all living entities in whom the Lord, also like a pure devotee, because the Lord is present in their hearts and can dictate to them to be friendly with his devotee. So one example has been given of Haridas Thakur. When he was there in a cave, there was one serpent, very dangerous serpent. He did not bother, the serpent did not bother, because he was chanting and the serpent was staying in its place. But the devotees who were coming to visit Haridas Thakur, they were becoming afraid. So they were feeling, dangerous serpent, we can never trust an animal. When it will bite and it might harm Haridas Thakur. So they were feeling the insecurity. So feeling the insecurity of the devotees, the serpent silently left that cave and went away. So in the perspective, it is said that even the animal which is there, it reciprocates because pure devotee is there. The Lord inspires that living entity not to harm that pure devotee. Similarly, there were many circumstances earlier also we have heard. When Raghunath Das Goswami was there doing sadhana at Radhakund. So he was staying near the Radhakund. It was an open field where tigers used to come to drink water in Radhakund. So he was never bothered. He was just chanting and going on. He was in his ecstasy, in his writing books or in his commentaries or thing. He was never bothered to make even a shed for himself. So one day he saw Sanatana Goswami when he came there to Radhakund. He saw Raghunath Das Goswami was in full ecstasy, and there was a tiger drinking water nearby, and Lord Krishna is standing with a stick behind Raghunath Das Goswami so that the tiger will not come upon. See, the devotees are not bothered for the external situations, but Lord is so careful that this animal will not come and harm his devotee. So devotee does not want to engage the Lord for their personal service. Sanatana Goswami will come and scold him. We are meant to serve the Lord. We are not meant to take service from the Lord. So similarly, we have to be very careful when we are trying to do devotional service. It is voluntarily we have to give service to the Lord, not with an intention or expectation of something from the Lord. Because Prahlada Maharaj was such a great personality. So even great devotees like Shukadeva Goswami glorifies the qualities of Prahlada Maharaj in 5th canto, where in each dvipa, each personality will be offering various prayers. So in one such dvipa where Prahlada Maharaj offers prayers to Narasimha, so Shukadeva Goswami glorifies the character of Prahlada Maharaj by saying, Bhagavan Narahari Rupena Aste Harivarshe. Lord, in the form of Narahari, stays in a Varsha called as Harivarsha. Tad Rupa Grahana Nimittam Uttaratra Abhidashye. I shall describe to you how Prahlada Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Narasimha Deva. Maha Bhagavataha, he is the topmost devotee. He is Maha Purusha Guna Bhajanaha. He is the reservoir of all good qualities of great personality. Every great personality will have some unique good qualities, but Prahlada Maharaj is the aggregate of all the good qualities of all great personalities. Daitya Danava Kula Tirthi Karana Shila Charitaha. His character and activities are delivered all the fallen members of his demoniac family. Because of his so saintly character, when Lord appeared to him, Lord blessed him by saying, because of your such a great devotee, 14 generations up and down, means 28 generations are automatically liberated because you of such a great devotee who has taken birth in your family. So Prabhupada perspectively writes in that purports there, if a Kanishta Adhikari, if he becomes sincere, he can at least liberate 3 generations. If he comes to a Madhyamadhikari, he will be able to liberate 7 generations. So Uttamadhikari level, it will be up to 14 generations. Then you may say, see 14 generations, I may see my father at last, at max my grandfather I would have seen. But 14 generations to the top, and 14 generations in the future, who is going to see where, when, how? So Acharyas explain, when they say the 14 generations or 3 generations or 7 generations liberated, in whatever form they accept in next life, they will engage in devotional service and they will be in the process of back home, back to God. In whatever form of life, they will take up to bhakti and they will endeavor to finish off that process of going back home, back to Godhead, wherever they are, and they will get that sukriti of the Lord because of this devotee. So that is the perspective we have to understand. Then, Dayatam Rupam, Lord Narasimha is very dear to the devotee, to your exalted personality. So Prahladaha Saha Tadvarsha Purusha Rupaste. So Prahlada Maharaj with all his servants and denizens of Harivarsha, Idam cha Udaharanti Avyavadhana Ananya Bhakti Yogena. He worships Lord Narasimha by chanting the following mantra in pure unalloyed devotional service. So that is one of the prayers what we offer. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namaste Tejas Tejase. So that sloka Prahlada Maharaj offers with many other slokas also. So the sincerity of his purpose is tested when Lord sees what intention, what we are trying to serve the Lord. See, greatness of devotees like Prahlada Maharaj. When you study their life history character, for one example we see, Hiranyakasipu went to do tapasya. So his wife Kayadu, she was pregnant. So when Indra got to know Hiranyakasipu is not at home and his wife is pregnant, so they thought generally the son of a demon will be a bigger demon. So they thought, we'll go arrest this lady, Kayadu, and whenever she delivers, we'll kill that baby because he is going to be a greatest demon, because son of the great demon. So they went to Hiranyakashipu's palace. They captured wife and they brought her, and they were taking away to the Indra's kingdom. So in the meantime, Narada Muni, when he approached Indra and he said, "What are you doing? Why are you trying to take away?" Indra tries to justify that no, she is the wife of the great demon. She is pregnant. As soon as she delivers, and we will leave her, we will not torture her anymore. But the baby, we will finish it off. Indra said, Shri Indra Vacha, Aste Asya Jatare Viryam, Avisahyam Suradvishaha, Asyatam Yavat Prasavam, Mokshe Artha Padavim Gataha. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govindaki. Aste Asya Jatare Viryam. In this lady, there is a powerful semen of the demon Hiranyakashipu. Avisahyam Suradvishaha. So, who is unbearable, and he is the enemy of the demigods. Suradvishaha. Hiranyakashipu is the enemy of the demigods. Asyatam yavat prasapam. Till she delivers, we will not torture her anything. Mokshe artha padavim gataha. Once she delivers that baby, we will mokshe, we will liberate her, we will not bond her or we will not torture her. Once we got the baby in our hands, we will not torture her anymore. So in this way, Indra had expressed what they are trying to do with Kayadu. So Narada Muni said to them, Shri Narada Vacha, I am Nishkilbishaha Sakshan, Maha Bhagavato Mahan. He is such a pure personality. Who is there, that baby? Don't think he is a demon. He is Maha Bhagavataho Mahan. He is the greatest of the great devotee, and he is Nishkilbishan. He is completely pure. Tvayana prapsyate samstam anantanu charo balihi. Because he is completely protected by the Lord, you will not be able to do him anything. You are thinking as soon as you get the baby, you are going to finish off that baby. No. He is anantanu charo balihi. Because he is a powerful servant of the Lord. Tvayana prapsyate samstam. You will not be able to kill him. So Narada Muni, when he said that, immediately Indra and all the demigods circumambulated. So, idi uktastam vihayendra devarusher manayan vachaha. So, when they heard these statements from Devarushi, they keeping respect for Narada Muni, vihaya indraha, they left her, vihaya, they left her immediately there, indraha with all the demigods. Anantapriya bhakta ayenam, because he is very devotee, he is very dear to the Lord, Anantapriyaha. Parikramya divam yayo. Because when they understood he is a Mahabhagavata, they immediately did circumambulation for Kayadu. They paid obeisances to Kayadu for the child who is there in the womb. Means even the demigods could understand he is a great personality. Even though he has not yet taken birth, they could understand because of Narada Muni's words. They circumambulated her, they paid obeisances to that great devotee, and they left immediately to their respective heavenly planets. Parikramya divam yayo. So after doing circumambulation, they went to their respective planets. Rushi karunikaha tasyaha. Then Narada Muni, feeling compassionate, informed her, my dear daughter, don't worry, you come to my ashrama, you stay there, as long as you want, you stay there. It will be very peaceful, it will be very sattvic, and you will be having complete protection there, nobody will be able to disturb you. So Rushi karunikaha tasyaha, Rushi being compassionate upon her, pradat ubayam ishwaraha. He gave instructions, pradat, delivered instructions, ubayam, to both of us, to me and my mother. Dharmasya tatvam jnanasya. On what topic did he give instruction? Dharmasya, on religiosity, and jnanaha, on transcendental knowledge and devotional service. He delivered lectures on these specific topics. Dharmasya tatvam jnanamcha, on the absolute truth, on the devotional perspective, on the transcendental knowledge. He delivered lectures. Mamapi uddishya nirmalam. These are specifically targeted to me, Mamapi. All these pure devotional perspective, which are very spotless subjects, have been delivered specifically with me as the intention. He delivered these lectures. Tattu kalasya dirgatvat, because of long duration of life. Stritvan matu stirodade. My mother, being womanly in nature, she forgot all the instructions which were delivered to her. Rushina anugrahitam mam. But Narada Muni had blessed me, mam, Rushina anugrahitam mam. Na adunapi ajahat smritihi. I could not forget, even now, I could not forget all that instructions what were delivered to me, because Narada Muni blessed me to hear all these instructions, to retain all these instructions. Bhavatam api bhuyan me yadi shraddhadate vachaha. So he was explaining to all his friends. They asked him, you are such a small boy, you are our contemporary, you have just come to school. How is that you have equipped with all this knowledge? Who taught you all this knowledge? Where did you learn? So with that question, he explained all this scenario, how he had received that knowledge. Finally he is concluding them, Bhavatam api bhuyan me. If you have confidence in me, Bhavatam, yadi shraddadate vachaha, and if you have faith in my words, Vaisharadi di shraddha tataha, Sri balanam cha me yataha. Just as a woman can also understand transcendental knowledge and know what is spirit and soul, Sri balanam cha me yata. So you can also understand transcendental knowledge just like me. Vaisharadi dihi, with a discriminative intelligence. Means with deliberative intelligence, if you focus on the instructions, as I have understood, by hearing from me, you can also understand about this transcendental knowledge. So finally, while Narada Muni was explaining about Prahlada Maharaj to Yudhishthira Maharaj, he says, Yam sadhugata sadasi ripavo api suran ripa pratimanam prakurvanti kim mutanye bhavadrushaha. So, yam sadhukata sadasi, in an assembly, sadasi, yat sadhukataha, when all the saintly people sit there to discuss about glorious characters of pure devotees. O Nripaha, O my dear King Yudhishthira, Ripavo api, even the enemies of the demons, which are demigods, Surahapi, Kim utanye bhavadrushaha, what to speak of you? Pratimanam pratikuruvanti, would cite Prahlada Maharaj as an example of great devotee. Even demigods who are enemies of demons, who does not like demons, even they glorify Prahlada Maharaj by setting an example that he is the greatest personality. What to speak of you and me, even Yudhishthira Maharaj, even demigods glorify about Prahlada Maharaj. Gunairalam asankyayer mahatmyam tasya suchyate vasudeve bhagavati yasya naisargiki ratihi. So, Gunairalam asankyayer. Who could list the innumerable transcendental qualities of Prahlada Maharaj? He is a reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Gunairalam asankyahai. Then, because of unflinching faith, Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasya Naisargiki Ratihi, because of his unflinching faith and attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Mahatmyam api mahatmaha, mahatmyam tasya suchyate. So although his good qualities cannot be enumerated, they prove that he is a great soul. So in conclusion, Narada Muni gives some of his qualities. He says, Prahlada Maharaj is the greatest person, greatest devotee, Maha Bhagavata Mahan. The second one, he is very fearless. So when he was asked to put into oil, or when he was left into a dungeon which is dark with snakes, or when he was put it into below the elephant's feet, or when he was thrown away from the mountain, he was fearless. Next, he has faith in the Lord, because when Lord said, I protect my devotees, he had complete faith in the protection of the Lord. He is not bothered, because if Lord protects, nobody can do any harm to him. That absolute faith in the Lord was his one more quality. Then he was compassionate for all. So in one of the prayers, when we recite the translation, he says, I am very much satisfied with myself by hearing about your pastimes. But I am very much concerned with fools and rascals who are engaged in this material world, trying to enjoy sense gratification. This is the same words he says. The fools who are mudaha, we are running around in this material world, trying to satisfy their senses. I am very much concerned for them. I am very much happy for by reciting your verses, I can go back home, back to Godhead. But I am bothered for these fools who are rotting in this world. So he is compassionate for the living entities. In the purport also Prabhupada says, he was not in a vengeance mode for people who tried to punish him on the order of his father. He was feeling compassionate upon them. Then he was not interested in childish playing, which is generally small children. If you leave them around, they would like to play around. They don't want even to go to school also. But Prahlada Maharaj was not interested in his childish behavior and all. He never exhibited the tendencies also. If he had time, he would always be preaching to somebody, or he will be practicing about himself, or he will be in ecstasy about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he was free from pride. Even though he was the greatest personality for whom the Lord had appeared personally for him, he never exhibited his pride to anyone in any circumstances. And he was a heroic preacher. Such a heroic preacher, when he went to school to be taught, he was preaching to his own teacher. He was preaching to his fellow students. When his father asked him, what have you learned from your school? He was preaching to his father. He is saying, what is that sloka? He says, Asurvarya Dehinam. He says, he doesn't say father. He says, oh, best of the demons, he says. He says, Tatsadu manya asurvarya dehinam sada samudvigna diyam asadgraham hitvatma patam gruhamanda kupam vanam gato yad haribashrayeta. Leave up all these things, go to Vrindavana, engage in bhakti. He was preaching to his father. A 5-year-old boy, that to preaching to the greatest demon who has conquered the entire universe. See, that's why he is heroic preacher. So he is not bothered of circumstances. He is not bothered of to whom he is preaching. If your message is so strong, opposite person, it will automatically impact. So that's why he is a heroic preacher. So with all these transcendental qualities, he was setting an example for other devotees, how a devotee has to practice spirituality and how he has to preach according to time, place and circumstances. That is very important. See, I may have the highest subject. Like for example, you are a professor in mathematics. So when you go to a kindergarten, will you show your professor skills or what will you teach to them? What will you teach? You can only teach numbers 0, 1, 2, 3. Maybe at max plus and minus, also not sure in kindergarten. So as per your students, you have to communicate according what they can understand. Or else they'll all be sleeping or they'll be all in confusion. What is this person saying? Because for them mathematics means you're only 0 to 10. 0 to 9. Anything, little more combination of this. When you say there is a pi, there is a square root, all these things and all, they will not bother. Sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, all these things will not make sense to them. So in mathematics, where are, other than numbers, how all these have come, people will feel, because they are not ready for that subject. As you keep growing, as you have understanding of the deeper subject, you might have deeper knowledge. So you may be proficient in the subject, but you have to be preaching according to time, place and circumstances. That we have to be very careful. So this was one of the life history of a devotee. He is a great personality, but because of some mistake, how Lord takes care of a devotee's life situation. Long back we had recited this story. Again, I thought circumstance-wise it is also very settled. So there was one personality by name Sadan Kasai. So means one who is a butcher by birth, but a great devotee of the Lord. Because of some misfortune, he had to take birth in a family who are having meat as their business. But he will be always been continuously in ecstasy, chanting the holy name of the Lord. And because of his saintly character and because to maintain the family, he would never kill an animal, but he will purchase meat from somebody else so that he could sell and survive. He was so poor, he had only a balance and he doesn't even have weights to properly measure how much quantity to sell. Like if you go to a shop, vegetable shop, you will have a half kg stone, 1 kg stone, 2 kg stone. So he doesn't even have that. So one day while he was walking on the road, he saw one beautiful stone which was very shining in the early morning. So seeing that stone, he got attracted. He took that stone and he went to his shop. And whenever he touches that stone, he goes into ecstasy. Continuously tears come out of his eyes. And because he had no other opportunity, so he used to use that stone itself as the weight to balance the meat. And what is that stone? It is the Shaligrama of the Lord. And with that Shaligrama, he used to see, because of his sincere devotion, because of his constant chanting of the holy name, the Shaligrama, whenever people used to come, they wanted to purchase half kilo, means he will become the weight of a half kilo. Or if somebody wants 1 kg means he will increase his size to 1 kg. Or if somebody wants 5 kg, saligram will become the weight of 5 kg. Because the Lord doesn't want his devotee become lost. So one day, one sadhu was passing by that area. As soon as he saw that shaligrama, he became immediately captured. He came and he started scolding. You such a fellow, what are you doing? You are worshipping Saligrama in a butcher shop. And you are using him as a weight. This is not the process of worshipping Saligrama. Saligrama means the Supreme Lord's incarnation. He has to be offered in such a way that there are some rules and regulations. Like Shodashopachara you have to do, you have to offer him bhoga time to time. Not in this filthy place and the sinful environment, you should not keep him. So, see, he was never in knowledge. As soon as he understood, oh, my dear sir, please forgive me. Then he said, give it to me. I will worship him in a royally. I will give him all the royal facilities, royal worship. I will offer him nice bhoga and all. So, immediately paid obeisances and handed over the stone to the sadhu. So, the sadhu took the stone home and he was offering the morning rituals and all. He was offering him bhoga. So, after that night, when he went to sleep, the Lord came to him in his dream and he said, I am not satisfied with your worship. With your rules and regulations, I am not satisfied. I am very happy with Sadan itself. Because he was continuously chanting for me. And when he was chanting, the tears were coming and he was holding me. The tears, when they were falling on me, because of his ecstasy, the tears were so cold. I am experiencing nice abhishekam continuously in a systematic way. And because I was on that balance, and that was like jula for me, always weighing up and down. So that was very comfortable for me. I am very much satisfied with his devotion rather than with your rules and regulative worship. I am not satisfied with you. Tomorrow morning, first go and hand it over to me. When Lord himself instructed, then he came. The sadhu came early morning. He went to his house, handed over the stone, and he said, my dear sir, whatever way you want to worship him, worship him. Lord is very much satisfied with you. So when he heard this statement, he became very happy. But now understood, when Lord himself has come to him, now there is no point in thinking of family, engaging in these sinful activities and all. He left his family with that Shaligrama stone. He started walking towards Puri. He wanted to go to Jagannath Darshan. So on the way, when he was traveling, he went to a nearby village. On the process, some village he went. He went to a businessman's house. He took rest in that businessman's house. He had asked, can I take shelter for the night? So because he is a young man with most beautiful body, so the woman of that house, she became very much fascinated by this Sadan. At the dead of the night, she came to him and she had asked him, please satisfy my desire. You are such a young personality, you are such a handsome personality. Please satisfy my desire and please engage in sexual intercourse with me. Then Sadan said, madam, you are like a mother. I am a guest. So every other woman is treated as a mother. So you are like my mother. So this is not the attitude to approach me. So you please go back to your husband. I am not the person for that purpose. Like that he plainly communicates to her. This lady went inside and she thought, because my husband is there, this person is feeling fearful that my husband will get to know and he might punish both of us. She took one sword, went into husband's bedroom, chopped off his head and came and said, no, now don't feel anything. My husband, I have killed him. Now you can come and you can engage with me unrestricted. Then he strictly forbidden her. So now, understanding that situation, now thinking that he will satisfy, she killed the husband also. Now she is at confusion what to do. She went to the outside of the house at the dead of the night and she started crying forcibly, inviting all the local people there, and she started beating her chest and all these things and all. When people came and asked her, why are you crying? What happened? She said, see, this man who had come as a visitor in my home wanted to rape me. For that purpose, he had killed my husband also. And like that, she blasphemed him and falsely, like Me Too case. She put something like a Me Too case upon this person, and he was dragged outside. They have beat him back and blue. He did not say even a word. He was thinking, all the karma what I had done by selling that meat, Lord is trying to purify me. So they took it to a local magistrate, where next day morning he was asked, because of the situation, he was asked to chop off his hands. Even the blood was bleeding. He did not comment anything. He did not curse anybody. The same mentality, he was said, okay, whatever Lord had sanctioned, let me be happy. And he started walking further towards Jagannath Puri. When he almost reached Jagannath Puri, in one of the pujari's dreams, Lord comes, Jagannatha comes. Tomorrow morning, so-and-so devotee will be coming. So you can easily identify him. He will not be having hands. So with a royal reception, you have to bring him to my temple and you have to bring him in front of me for darshan. So they will be waiting next day morning at the Attaranala. Attaranala means a bridge with 18 holes will be there in that bridge. They will be waiting there. As soon as Sadan comes there, they immediately ask him to get into the Pallaki. He said, sir, I am a sinful person. What to do? Why you are asking me? You are all great devotees. You are all directly pujaris of the Lord. No. Lord had orders to bring you in a royal way. This is an instruction from Lord Jagannatha himself. So please get into the Pallaki. So they bade him sit into the Pallaki. They brought him near the temple. As soon as when he came in front of the deities, when he paid obeisances, see, as soon as you see the Lord, you pay obeisances. So when you pay obeisances, how do you get up? His hands are chopped off. So naturally, he tried to extend his arms to get up, and his hands came back. His hands came back, and he stood in front of the Lord, and he started offering prayers, and he stayed back in Puri in engaging in devotional service. So that night, there was a conversation with Lord Jagannatha and him. So Lord Jagannatha comes in a dream, and are you satisfied? Did you get my darshan, all these things and all? Then he said, Sadan said, sir, I have one doubt. What you did, you punished me by cutting off my hands. Then you gave me back by my hands. Why is this? He said, and who is that lady? Why did she chop off that her husband? All these things, why did you enact all these pastimes? The Lord said, in your last life, you had accidentally caused one cow to be slaughtered. So there was one slaughterman who was trying to kill a cow. That cow escaped from him, and it was running away. He was asking people to help him to catch that cow. So you were passing on the way. Because that person had asked for you to help, you tried to caught hold of the cow by holding your hands. You are catching the head of the cow by holding your hands. So then the chopper man came, and he took away that cow. So because you helped him in killing that cow, that's why your punishment has come, because by your hands you are holding the cow. So that hands had to be chopped off for that purpose. Then again, who is that lady? Why did she kill that husband? So in the last life, the cow became the lady now, and the butcher man became the husband. Last life, butcher killed the cow, and this life, compensation, the lady killed the butcher. How he had chopped off the cow's head. So in this way, she had chopped off his head. Tit for tat, karma balance. So this is how the things happen. So sometimes Lord sanctions some karma to us, so that to purify us of all the unwanted contamination, so that, and he will also make us realize how Lord is in control of the devotees' lives. He completely takes control of the devotees' perspective, and he gives us the best thing so that we become more attached to him in the process of devotion service. So in that way, this devotee has been taken care, and the Lord Jagannatha had blessed him. So we have to be very careful. We have to be, because we also come across various circumstances where people may scold us, people may, see, we may get respect, or we may get scolded, or we may get all the dualistic perspectives. So we have to be very careful not to think something negative of people, or not to become carried away by happiness and by glorification. So we have to maintain our composure, and we have to be very careful while engaging in devotional service. I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts?
During our times and all, because someone's hand is chopped up and it came back. So if we tell it to some outsiders, they're nearby. So he may think something is telling in a way. So, and we are not seeing also in our community and all, like that type of devotion or something is there. So for people, to make them understand that this type of pastimes also has happened. So what would be the belief? Because they may not have a kind of willingness to understand or something like that. Their perceptions are not built up. So,
see, this is
stories or past we are not able to see in our expert communities as well. So like if we try to tell them, like many Panduranga times and Ramadasu times also it has happened. So in that way, how
so this is basically to have faith in the instruction. That's what when Narada Muni was explaining that the boy is the greatest personality, the Indra believed in the words of that Narada Muni. So similarly, when the acharyas are trying to reveal the characteristics of other pure devotees, You have to follow in their footsteps. Just have faith in the instructions. Have you seen anybody, person going back home, back to Godhead? We never saw. When Krishna is promising, I'll take you back home, back to Godhead, means that's the promise. So we have to have faith in the instructions. Then automatically, that revelation comes to us as we become more and more pure and sincere.
In this past time, we are able to see that Diti is repenting for her mistake, and Kasyapa will hear that devotee is going to appear. But later again, Diti will do a penance to beget a son to kill all those things. So now we are seeing she is repenting, and later her mentality is changed. How do we understand?
See, at that time also, she is again worshipping the Supreme Lord only. See, what happens, motherly nature, that's why women, it is said, sometimes they can get carried away by situations. Faith is there, devotion is there, but somewhere that feeling that her sons have been killed injustifyingly. The demigods have done a cruel thing. They have instigated the Supreme Lord to act on their behalf. Like that, she got carried away by a momentary, wrong thoughts. But again, later, at the end, she again excuses Indra and they make friendship with Indra, all these things and all. Indra also realizes the mistake that her aunt is spotless. She is very sincere in engaging in devotional service. See, in this material world, nobody is perfect. So we are not explaining about that pure personalities who are very great. So Diti, because of her nature, she is pure. But momentary, we might get carried away. We have to be very careful. See, their life example is instructions for us. So not to do like that. From positive people, what should be done? From negative people, what should not be done? Both things we have to learn. Okay. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Hitai Gaur Premanandi.